So wet, windy and cold is how I'd describe this stage. It was a real tough day on the bike. You can see the wind blowing through the leaves there. This is the actual race. This is about a 90 kilometre race. This is after about 80k, so 10 kilometres to go in this race. And the guy in the red there with the yellow shoe covers attacks. And just a perfect time to attack, going slightly up a hill with 10 kilometres to go. No one in the bunch reacts, and it was just absolutely perfect. You can see he has just gone. So a lot happened prior to this, and that's why there's no reaction, but great attack. So let's quickly look at the course. So you can see here, this is the course for this stage. It's quite lumpy, and as you can see, we went around this little circuit here 3 times, and then went straight at that intersection, and then up to the finish line just there. And from this on, that's where we rode back to the car. But that was so that's the finish line just there. But yeah, you can see like this section from here is uphill all the way to there. And so yeah, it was a challenging course. So the young guy who's gone up the road, his name's Nick Norden. He's only in his early 20s or even late teens, but he's shown absolute maturity and experience here by attacking at the right time. I think he sensed that the group was feeling a bit fatigued. And you can look up the left-hand side of the road there if you just get a decent view in a second, and he is pretty much gone. I reckon I think he got about 30 or 40 seconds up the road at one stage. So the group hasn't reacted at all here. A lot has happened in this bike race. I mean, we're 80 k's into the race here. It's been quite hilly. It was very cold, so the spirits weren't very high in the group. And the crosswinds, the wind was coming from the rider screen. So at stages there, the whole group were in the gutter and just trying to hold the wheels. So tough race. And I'm just hoping for a bunch sprint, but as you can see, Nick has attacked really well, and he's up the road. So I've got my doubts here at this stage. So yeah, so this video is going to be a little bit longer because we're sort of covering the last 10 k's, but there's quite a few good attacks by the guys for the next 10 k's. So it's just a good way to show you how a race unfolds in the final few kilometres, and what everyone gets a bit edgy and sort of tries to outwit each other. I've sped the footage up here because there's not much happening. So the guy on the right there in the Coburg, he's got the yellow stripe. He sat on the front for like 10 k's and pulled back the bunch, and it was pretty impressive. He brought back a break of 8 riders on his own, which was really impressive. He was really strong. I think he won the TT, the time trial. So awesome effort. So this is where I attack. I sort of panicked a bit because I want a bunch sprint, but I was sort of thinking to myself, well, this kid's gone. This kid is absolutely gone. So I've just given it a little bit of an attack. A couple of guys have come through. This is where I'd been sitting at the back of the bunch for most of the race, but you know, I was getting a bit twitchy now. I was up the front, and I was thinking, oh God, if we don't bring this kid back, there's going to be problems. So look, throughout this video, I'll just answer a few YouTube comments, just a few questions. Quinton B says, thanks for the video. Just wondering where your eyes are looking when you're in a bunch like this one. Are you constantly trying to look at little holes in front of you, or are you looking forward to prevent an accident or turn? Yes, I would say I'm looking at the guys in front of me. So not the guy directly in front of me, but probably 3 or 4 riders in front. And look, good bunch etiquette is that people let each other know where the potholes are. They point them out. So in this bunch, you know, guys, it was an excellent bunch of blokes. They're all pointing things out to each other constantly. So yeah. So another tack here. Awesome. So this guy is trying to get across to Nick, and this time the bunch has reacted, which is good. So I'm feeling a little bit better about things here. And I'm just trying to stay up the front because we've got 7 k's to go. As I said, I've sped this footage up just to get through it a little bit quicker. But unfortunately for the guy that just attacked, the group has brought him back, and this is where the bunch sits up. So as soon as the bunch brings back an attacker, someone else generally goes, and then this happens, and this happens all the way to the finish in any bike race. So you just have to be smart. One thing with being a sprinter like myself is you have to look after yourself into the final few kilometres. And when I say look after yourself, you just need to make sure that your legs, you're not putting too much lactic into your legs. Just I'm sitting on the guy here in the pinks wheel, just trying to look after myself, just trying to save my energy, because you know, if you tax yourself too much into the finish, you just don't have the same power output that you could have had. So it's funny, I found something, I've just wiped the screen there just to get the dirt off, but you can see everyone sort of moving up, and I'm sort of getting boxed in. There's probably 5Ks to go now, and I'm feeling a bit edgy about being so far back and having guys to my right. In these races, we've only got one side of the road, so we've got the left-hand side of the road, and we can't go across into the right in the sprint. Otherwise, you get disqualified and fined. So those white lines were our boundary. Here, I've slowed the footage down again, and so this is where the race is starting. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm staying close to the front, so you can see I've just jumped on this guy's wheel just to move a little bit further forward. Yeah, I was just about to say, I found something that Mark Cavendish, just a comment he made about his power output. You'd be surprised at my watts, Cavendish says. Most people who say their maximum is 1600 watts won't put out 1600. My maximum is 1580, and that is a lot. Not many guys will do more than 100 more than that. But no one will ever get close to that in a race after 200 kilometres. I put out 1490 today in training on bad form, but I won't put that out in a race. It's not watts, it's just my... it's not watts and it's not my frontal area in a sprint. It's everything beforehand. How I ride in the peloton, my pedalling action, how I sit. I save so much energy for the finish. And I can relate to that so much, because coming into the final here, just that last section where he says, it's not so much about your frontal resistance and the wattage. It's how you look after yourself. Like if I was to sit here and sit on the front, for example, of this bunch and chase down those boys, there's no way I could sprint in the final with, at my best. So it really is about keeping a very high cadence, not pushing a big gear. If I was pushing a 53.12 along here, I'd just be taxing my legs too much for the sprint. So I'm making sure that I'm in my big chainring 53 and maybe in the 16 or 17 or something like that. Just spinning, turning the legs over at about 100 cadence, and looking after myself. Aaron Dunn says, how do you overlap the power and the speed? You can see the power up the top and the speed. So I use a thing called Garmin Verb Edit, and I import the footage into that, overlay the data, and then put it into Premiere Pro CS6, and do the final editing in that, and then output it to YouTube. Douglas Crawford says, any tips on becoming a good all-rounder like Sir Bradley Wiggins? Look, mate, I wish I knew the answer to that. I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I'm not a very good climber and I'm not a very good time trialist, but I can put a lot of power output in the final sprint. So I really struggle in races like this where there's a few hills. If the hill's a little bit too long or a little bit too steep, I generally get spat out the back and have to chase. So if anyone could use that advice, it'd be me. I would say the best thing to do, and I know what needs to be done, I just need to go and ride a lot of hills, lose a little bit more weight, and do a lot more efforts on a trainer or maybe some time trial efforts. And it doesn't happen overnight. Like, it's not going to be a 2-3 month thing. This takes years to develop. So 2, 3 to 5 years, consistent training, lots of hard efforts, lots of hill rides, and you definitely can improve those areas and become a good all-rounder. So it's definitely a long-term thing. It's not something you're going to do in 3 months. So you can see here we're coming into maybe the final 3 kilometres. As soon as we come out of all these trees, I sort of know we're on the home stretch. And I'm just trying to... You notice I'm on the right-hand side as opposed to being on the left-hand side. As I said, the sprint, you can't go left because you're going to be in the dirt. And we can't go right over those white lines because it's against the rules. So how am I going to overtake these guys? Well, it's definitely on the right-hand side. I'm probably not going to have the opportunity to go up the left-hand side. So that's why I'm out to the right. But the unfortunate thing is, and one thing you can't see, is the crosswind from the right-hand side. So we've got from right of screen coming across to the left. It's a very, very strong wind. So I'm sitting out in the wind here. I'm pushing, up to 400 watts, and I'm not getting much cover. But I'm making, it's that compromise between being in a good position and pushing high wattage. So there's a guy coming up on my right hand side, and that's a bit dangerous because I can get boxed in. And there is nothing worse than feeling good in the finish, but being boxed in by other riders and not being able to get out. So that's very frustrating. Jared here on the left in the Sufferfest kit. Very strong rider. He was leading the tour overall, I'm pretty sure, by this stage. And just a fantastic ride on all levels for him. He's a fairly new rider. I was talking to him after the race, and I think he's a fairly new rider coming up the grades, but such a strong, talented rider. So give him a couple more years, three years, and he'll be up there smashing it off the front with A grade and dominating. Great bunch of blokes in this race. Very, very good athletes, very strong bike riders, and it was a really enjoyable bike race for that reason alone. So this is it, last kilometre or two. We're coming up a slight incline here into the finish. Everyone is very twitchy. I'm trying to get out to the right, but I know I can't go. And then the boys kick, fortunately. Now this is critical here. What do? Do I jump on his wheel or his wheel? So a little gap open there, and I deliberately jumped across to it. I could have fallen in behind that other rider's wheel, but it was really important that I stay close to the front. And we kicked up to 1300 watts there. So Jared's gone very early. He's a very strong rider, but way too early. You know, you're never going to win a bike race going that early. But look, you know, he got on the podium, so it's still good. And then I just kick around the outside and bring it home and manage to just get over the boys. But the breakaway guy is literally, you can just see him there. So he was literally 4 seconds in front of us in the end. You can see him looking back. And so he only just won the bike race, and just what a brilliant break, what a brilliant breakaway. I just thought it was awesome. All right, just finished stage 3 of the Northern Combine 3-day tour, and absolutely knackered. It's going to be pretty tight for tomorrow's race. But you can see the young fella that jumped away with about 8-9 Ks to go. What a legend, what a beautiful move. I love seeing a solo guy win the race, and he just went at the absolute most perfect time. So that's a lesson, you know, if you're not a bunch sprinter, and car's going past, if you're not a bunch sprinter, you know, it's just that sort of distance to attack that far from the line and just give it everything. It is without a doubt the best way to win a race, and I really love seeing it. So anyway, we'll see how we go tomorrow. It's quite an undulating course, and probably not suited to me, but I'll dig deep and see how I go.